other, kailangan na nating makita because this is game number 1 between RSG Philippines and TNC Pro Team. Both of these teams have yet to regain their momentum. Kaya naman, ibato na natin sa Land of Dawn with our casters. Uomi and Burrito, please take it away.
Welcome.
It's actually us. Niso and Leo on the English desk. Thank you so much, Antinara, and our friends over at the Infinix Game Tambayan Midnight Rock are taking care of the draft. Joseph, how are you liking what RSG, PH, and TNC brought to the table?
I'm liking both, but you know, I think I have to go ahead and opt for the fact that, and this isn't a biased opinion because Wolf is over there coaching, but I do like TNC's lineup. You know, I want to see them be able to get this match off to a good start, get the momentum going. I think they have it. It's just mainly every time I see a Zask, man, I gotta say, like, do you have what it takes to deal with a Zask?
And you're looking at a Zask with Aqua in it, right? And I know Aqua to be one of the best space users and technical mages. Oh no, quick action early on.
Already early on, fighting for the Lith Wanderer. Nibber could be in trouble. Not going to be able to help much just yet, as it's already a first blood here in the hands of Hez. Good start once again for TNC as Hez picks up a kill.
That's what you call a heads-up play.
Heads up.
And I was getting back to it, as I was saying before we were so suddenly interrupted by our teams. When you're looking at Aqua on a Zask, he doesn't get to use much of the space. Like, he has to commit. Whenever he goes in with his ult, he has to commit, and that's not very Aqua in my opinion. We have to see RSG grow into many different directions, not just because Nats isn't playing for today, but mainly because the meta is changing, right? And this is a RSG with Irad in it. It's a very aggressive RSG.
It's funny that you mentioned that because technically, like, our meta shifted majorly, what, 2 months ago, I think it was at this point? It's been a while, but, like, there's these micro shifts still happening. And I love to see that. I love that we're in that phase of the meta where, some of these changes still happen. And even with this, like, this lineup that RSG brought to the table is still something that, you know, has a little bit of a nicheness to it because, like the panel mentioned, Light is going to pick up a signature pick like this Kaja, but still with it, I think that's the thing. Like, they have to tailor the aggression here.
Besides Light, everything else is kind of new flavor for the Raiders. TNC, on the other hand, again, everything's in flux for them. This is their comfort zone, I guess, you know, climbing up and trying to score one over the rest of the league. And you're seeing Escalera on his signature Grok, SD on the Ling, that's an old favorite. And of course you have Hatred on the Aurora, who has been playing Aurora even before Aurora was a thing.
And it's funny because, one of the first players to obviously bring the Aurora out. But, you know, still serves a purpose. There's the Divine Light Judgment we were talking about. Shadow Kill already going to be used. They pop the Test of Blades. It's Light that gets punished. Nibber goes down too. TNC, though, how are they going to still adjust? They have to deal with that Zask. Still holding its front with the Nightmare Spawn, but they're going to force the Red back. But these are pickups for TNC already, and some control around the turtle. And now, once again, Heads will be focused down, taken down. SD goes for the kill. He'll handle Aqua just fine. And now they'll get the objective, most likely.
Oh no, Turtle's still standing!
Light's there alongside Irad. They could stop this in their tracks. They go in, Nibber flickers in. Irad walks up, takes the turtle. Do they still go for more? Hatred's in trouble. They pop the Pride of Ice already, the passive, and now Escalera alongside Irad. There's the wild charge. Going to be able to knock up two. Still battling out Hatred. Doesn't have the passive. Careful to draw in, but Kozin goes in and will pick it up. But Irad falls, and Light picks up another, and Aqua too. The Raiders will get something out of the value from that first turtle take.
Some things might change, but if you're thinking of the fundamentals in RSG, no matter who's playing, no matter how aggressive they may be, they may look, some things never change. Look at this, SD still going in. Goes in as well, Tempest of Blades up!
Tempest of Blades already using, Light will fall. Great usage, Spirit of Destruction as well from Kozin, so this is a battle, man. That's exactly what we're seeing here with these lineups.
I don't think it's a battle, this is a straight up fight now. 5 minutes in, 10 kills across the board. Not even 5, folks. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Let's see what the items look like. Again, because of how much TNC got out of that first turtle, you see how Kozin is way ahead of Kusei. Like, I'd say, what, 500, 600 gold? And then you're looking at SD, who got 3-0. 3, and then nothing. And then, well, they did have to surrender the turtle, but he's what, 200 gold up on Irad?
Yeah.
As a Ling, as someone who is maybe a little slightly more late game reliant, I'm liking where this Ling is going.
It's scaling really well, and that's why I always love, Warcry Emblem 2 has done some good things in our current meta, bringing in that emblem, and you saw 2 over here from the Raiders, and I think that's why when they go into some of these skirmishes, these team fights, it shows, it shows on how they kind of scale up. Now, Kosei, on the other hand, he's been able to farm up for relatively, freely, and he's going to have to shine later on because like we saw with Kozin, he could just throw in the spear, man. Spear destruction, here I am.
And I think that's where RSG needs to step on the clutch, maybe consider how they approach the mid-game power spike. They don't really have any burst. They have Zask, sure. They have light off the DJ, but maybe they want to go for pickoffs first and maybe secure this. Nibur coming in again!
That's what they're going to go for. They went for it, and now Hatred going to fall. They don't worry about it. SDZYZ going to join the fight. Nibur still there on the front side on this Edith, keeping them at bay. They just want control of the turtle pit, and they'll go ahead and do that. And I think TNC might be left to just giving this one up here.
Dear God, look at the body block. RSG just putting up meat shields from the major objective, and they score one more. 100% of turtles going so far to the Raiders. And now they're moving downward. That is a Divine Judgment on Light. Again, best believe, Joseph, people watching at home, as long as there's a battle spell or an ult on RSG, they're going to press the buttons.
It's most likely going to be from Light, right? That's why anytime he picks this Kaja, I'm just like, man, that's a Divine Light Judgment coming through, because the way he plays aggressively with his Kaja and utilizing the Divine Judgment is great. I mean, a lot of the times, that's all they have to do, rely on Light to do it. And I feel like that's almost in a sense where, on the flip side, you have a wild charge for TNC, you've got a Way of the Dragon. Like, you have pick-off tools, but can they utilize it?
Yeah, nothing is as sure as this. Divine Judgment once more!
Divine Judgment going to find heads. They get the flicker out, so he has to burn it to survive, but hey, that's still, this minor win for RSG as they set here on the bottom side.
I think you can count it as a win, but you got to put an asterisk on that, Joseph, because Light spent not just the ult, but also the flicker.
He did.
And I think this will open up the turret. Yep. I'd say that's a good exchange.
Yeah, good exchange. They expend that a little bit. They still have tools, too, to kind of initiate the fights with Nibur on this Edith, and they make a play objectively, they get a turret. That's more space to make around the map here. And again, we're talking about the fact that, the next objective being up Lord, they've got kind of control of this. And it's building up a slow momentum for them, too.
Yeah, and I think the rubber band is just about to snap. We're looking at Kosei here, who again has no kills, no deaths either, and is on his way to an endless battle. And he's rocking the Sky Piercer and the Windtalker from here on, so he can choose one of either path, Joseph. Yeah. He farms minions, or he farms heroes. He can go either way. He's just waiting for that moment.
He's at the fork in the road right now.
Yep, it's like, which one? Dylan, tell me. Light, tell me, which way?
Which way do I go? And again, at that point, with Lord coming up here, that's where TNC kind of has to check themselves a little bit. And why I say it's so important that you get the setups, especially the fact you have Escalera on this Grok here. They'll exchange here on the bottom side, and we'll see what they focus on.
In the same way, in a swing of fate, TNC is also facing the same story.
Exactly.
Do we now go for fights, or do we split the map up? And it looks like now they're catching up to it. Lord here down to a 10th, the 16th, the steal!
SD somehow able to get the Lord, and now it looks like they're going to be able to win the fight too as Light gets taken down. Nibur pops the Primal Wrath, but does he have enough damage? He gets thrown into the wall from the Spear of Misery. As 3 fall from RSG, where did this come from TNC?
A haymaker from down under. TNC caught RSG off guard. And say what you will about the past 3 or 4 minutes, but RSG is only really strong when they have initiative. They can't clap back when they're not ready. Let's see that instant replay here brought to us by Infinix. Joseph, even you and I didn't see it until it just happened. First off, the steal off of SD's Divine Retribution, and then from there, I guess they just
collapsed.
They just throw bodies at it. Even Kusei wasn't ready. Look.
Yeah, it was a beautiful overlapping of things that TNC needed. That's what they exactly needed. Again, as we were questioning, do they fight? Do they go for the objective? They went for both in that exchange, and they get the Lord, and now they'll be able to move around the map a little bit better than they have. So this is the time. Do the Raiders have it in the tank? There's the wild charge again with the damage on the backside already going to pull through. Primal Wrath's going to be popped too as Escalera's in trouble. Nibur already picks up a kill and now heads on the run. He gets cut off. SD tries to save him, but is that who you want to be able to save? SD's still going to be alive, and now RSG has to deal with the Lord in the base, as those shields will pop down bottom side.
All right, they'll have to manage here, but kudos to TNC. Again, respect for what they did in that last sequence, stealing away the Lord, taking 3 down for free, but they tried to do it a second time and take pictures too. Didn't really pan out. Again, this just shows how aware RSG is of the situation. They know who the beatdown is, and as TNC tried to swing once more with a haymaker from down under, it just did not pan through. What made that last sequence work out, a chorus of violence. Oh, wait! Oh, again!
Dominator's Descent going to be already used. Tempest Ablaze to follow up. Drops down the Glacier, but Hatred can't escape the damage. As the Spirit Destruction going to be used. Chosen's going to follow up. He doesn't, as Escalera gets shredded. And Kusei already choosing the kills here. Now he's online on the Roger. Picks up 2. And they're going to focus down the mid lane for the tier 2 turret.
Again, what makes a chorus of violence possible for TNC, a sudden swing into a dominant position, is a drum beat. You have to have set it up. But if it's RSU's ready to welcome it, if RSU's waiting for you to please force me to fight, now this is what happens.
This is what happens. It's tough because just when TNC found that spark in their flame, it just quickly got doused out by the Raiders. And I don't know, that's always something, you know, about RSG from season to season. You can't count them out. Even when you have that swing play in your favor, somehow, some way, the Raiders are like, no, we're going to turn this around. We got this.
They didn't air it out. The fire was there. There was but an ember. But Aqua was ready to answer back. Light with a pull!
Light's going to get a pull off again. Escalera. Immortality going to be popped. Can the team get there in time? He tries to get away, but the clones will get him as Irad gets the killing spree already, making a double. Lord's going to be worked on. Still gets the triple 2. Is he looking for the Maniac from Heads? I don't think he's going to be able to catch Heads, but he has the damage there. They'll get the objective instead, and once again, the Raiders come through in the team fight, in the exchange. They get the objective.
John Darituazon back in MPL Philippines, showing up. Yet to get a win, but here his Hayabusa performing out of his mind. 6-1 and 5, picking up the Malefic Roar now.
Yep.
Best believe even Escalera, even Heads is gonna have to think twice about, can I really take a few hits from this Hayabusa?
Scary. You know, you saw the preview of the damage alone, and sometimes all he has to do is pop that shadow kill once Light goes in with a Divine Judgment. They disperse away from it. Lord's going to work on this mid-base turret. Irad goes to the backside, a huge knockup again, even with the Primal Wrath being expended. But they'll pick up a couple kills as 2 are down for TNC. They'll go back, they'll heal up. They have to deal with the Lord. It's almost down. They should be able to clear it out. Irad jumps in on the backside, forcing him back a little bit longer, and again the pull from Heads as another member from TNC will fall. But only 1 base turret going down for RSG.
A 3-for-1. Plus a penetration. Look at Light looking for targets.
Still want more here.
Let him go. It's just Escalera waiting on him. Kozen as well. All right, TNC still yet to breathe. An amazing initiation by Nibor. I'm loving it. I'm wondering what the fans think of what he brought out there in the absence of Nats. Because so far, 2, 4, and 7. Again, not a good KDA if you ask me.
Yeah.
But what he did there single-handedly shot up RSG's net worth up to 7K.
Shout out to the fans, right?
All the fans.
That's right. And that's why I was saying, going back, like, you know, what, 10 minutes ago when we were talking about the tools that RSG had here. See, notice how it's either Light when he has the flicker available, or it's Nibor. And they can both do that time and time again. But TNC can do the same thing. That's why you pointed it out. Like, it's more or less the same story for TNC's lineup here.
Yeah, and here's the thing. For TNC, it's not as simple. All right, Joseph, it's not as simple. It's not just because they're down 6 or 7K.
Yeah.
It's more because if Heads jumps in or Escalera jumps in, they require a little bit more
finesse
and synchronicity. Like, they have to throw in 3 or 4 ults to get there. For RSG, they're happy with a single Divine Judgment and then maybe 2 or 3 hits from Kusei or Irad.
Yeah.
They can make that work. It's so much simpler for them. But for TNC, the returns are infinite.
That's true.
Because they can walk away with a steal. SD can do that. They can control the map a little better. Because again, you walk on walls with the Finch Poise much easier than the Quad Shadow.
Yeah, that's true. What? And the toss up again from the onward.
See, I told you, easier.
So much simpler to make it work here. And now, forcing TNC back again Does RSG just choose to end the game here with a numbers advantage, 5 versus 3?
They can.
TNC, they got the waves pushing in. They're trying to block it off with the Guardian's barrier. The Nightmares are going to be dropped down. Dominators ascend too. They want to force them off the base. Tempest of Blade's going to be used, trying to clear the waves out. Escalera takes way too much damage as he will fall. But the crystals already going to be worked on as RSG will take game number 1.
Are you a